There are billions of basketball fans worldwide. This is not surprising because basketball has evolved drastically throughout the years. It now belongs at the forefront of sports entertainment. The excitement in the sport never stops growing through the years as new athletic and competitive players are drafted. We have witnessed hundreds of promising basketball talents come and go. But who among them do you think is the best? Number 10. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a one-in-a-million basketball player. He is tall enough to play the center position, yet he decided to play his own game. With his long arms, it's almost impossible to block his jump shot as he plays outside the paint. His precise shooting and killer mentality made him one of the most famous basketball players today. Some even say that he already ousted LeBron James as the best player of this era. Many criticized him for joining the Golden State Warriors, saying that it was a cowardly move. Personally, I believe it was his decision to make. Was he desperate to be in the finals and grab a ring at that time? That might be the case. But who can blame him for joining an organization that plays as a team and is clearly having fun while doing it? He won 2 straight NBA championships after joining the Golden State Warriors, and he got his first Finals MVP in the process. Others claim that he still has a lot to prove to be called the best NBA player of this generation. But in the end, Kevin Durant is a legit all-star and a player that any team in the NBA today would love to have on their roster. Number 9. LeBron James. Why is LeBron James in the bottom 2? I know it looks absurd, but hear me out. First, LeBron's career is not over yet. He may or may not get more accolades, so I'm giving our legends and Hall of Famers a bit of bias. Second, he might be a taller and stronger player than Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, yet the latter two impacted basketball during their era on a different level. Although LeBron is having the same effect in the current era, the fact still remains that he is not yet done. Let's wait and see. Maybe he'll be up in the top 5 of this list after all is said and done. LeBron James is currently the best player in the NBA. Despite missing the 2019 NBA playoffs after joining the Los Angeles Lakers, we simply can't push aside what he has accomplished over the past few years. He led the Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers to multiple championships. LeBron James with the Cleveland Cavaliers even defeated the 2016 Golden State Warriors, which was regarded back then as one of the greatest teams ever assembled in the history of the NBA. This was done despite being down 3-1. Number 8. Kobe Bryant. Black Mamba surely deserves to be a part of this list. Some might argue that the 8th position is a bit low for him, but I think it's fair enough considering how great the players higher on this list are. Kobe Bryant is criticized as the poor man's Michael Jordan. Not only is their game similar, but so is their competitive nature. But there's something unique and special about Kobe. He was always ready to give everything he had to win a game. There was even a time when he was fouled and got injured. Most players would immediately leave the game and let a teammate make the free throws. Kobe would not do this. He made the free throws before going out to treat his injury. That's how dedicated and serious he is about the game. Kobe Bryant's farewell game is probably the best one to date. His team won that game and he scored 60 points. He was on fire during that game. Everything he threw would go straight to the bottom of the net, especially in the 4th quarter. Kobe will go down as one of the most competitive, gritty, and passionate NBA players of all time, and not just a mere copy of Michael Jordan. Number 7. Shaquille ONeal. Shaquille ONeal boasts strength, size, and height. These physical features alone are more than enough for him to dominate the paint in every game. In the peak of the big man's career, it would take at least 2 men to stop him. Despite having a problem with his free throws, Shaq was able to improve on them later on, which proves his dedication towards the sport. The Los Angeles Lakers were unstoppable with Shaq paired up with the highly talented forward Kobe Bryant. Their offensive pattern revolved around this mighty duo, and they rarely failed to deliver. Shaquille O'Neal was also a monster in the defensive end to the point that carelessly shooting within his range would always lead to a powerful block. Although taller players have started entering the league, Shaq managed to stay on top. For him, it's not just about being the biggest or tallest. Shaq knows more about achieving optimum position inside the paint compared to every center during his time. Out-rebounding Shaq was close to impossible. Leaving him with a weak guard would most likely result in a monstrous dunk that would pump up not only his teammates but the crowd as well. Number 6. Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was one of the most infamous basketball players during his era and is among the reasons why the sport spread worldwide. He was known for being a highly reliable scorer. In fact, he managed to score 100 points in just one game against a formidable team. Aside from his height, Chamberlain's offensive arsenal relied on his athleticism. He was able to maneuver in midair despite being so tall. His dunks and rebounds made him an unstoppable force inside the paint. A Opposing teams found it nearly impossible to control him once he gained momentum. Though only a few today remember his name, Wilt Chamberlain surely deserves a spot on this list. Number 5. Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon kept his team, the Houston Rockets, dreaming. This is probably why he gained the nickname of the Dream. With his exceptional skills, Olajuwon created a seemingly impossible rally and made his team a force to be reckoned with. No one referred to the Houston Rockets as a formidable team until Olajuwon teamed up with Charles Barkley. With them inside the paint, the Rockets dominated the NBA for years. Olajuwon is tall and muscular, so he found it very easy to gain position and grab rebounds. His perimeter shooting was also considered to be one of his major assets. It would require at least 2 big men to completely silence him. Otherwise, he would easily get inside his comfort zone and pull off a devastating dunk. Number 4. Larry Bird. Tall players usually excel in rebounding and scoring inside the paint. Larry Bird defied this rule by being one of the best three-point shooters of all time in the NBA. Aside from his prowess in shooting beyond the three-point line, he was also a proficient dribbler. He was one of the few tall men who could carry a ball from one side of the court to another effortlessly amidst a tight defense. Larry Bird's talent in basketball also extended in driving swiftly towards the basket, which he usually did with a fake to confuse his defender. Bird's reliable three-pointers were lifesavers and led the Celtics to numerous championships during his career. Before we continue to the top 3 best basketball player in NBA history, we have some honorable mentions. David Robinson, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Stephen Curry, Allen Iverson. This players was ideally on the list. Number 3. Kareem AbdulJabbar. There were high hopes for Kareem AbdulJabbar because of his size. Nonetheless, he proved to everyone else that he was much more than a player with insane height. His infamous hook shot was impossible to block and its accuracy was almost 100%. This meant 2 points were all but assured once Kareem leapt and stretched one of his hands. His dedication to the sport was second to none. This was seen by how much effort he exerted, regardless if the game was crucial or not. He uplifted the standards of the NBA like no other player in the history. Though his contribution to the sport is undeniable, Kareem's feet were always on the ground. His humility and sportsmanship on and off the court made him even more of a lovable icon. Number 2. Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson's name is not just for show. He seemingly does magic on the court with his brilliant passes. He may not have absurd leaping abilities or strength like most famous basketball players, but Magic dominated the game through a unique approach. Instead of scoring, he let his teammates do the job by drawing the defense towards him. Once he attracted at least 2 defenders, he would then pass the ball behind his back to an open teammate. This strategy might seem very predictable, but it was never easy to counter when Magic did it. His passes could come from out of nowhere, so predicting when, where, and how they were done seemed impossible. Magic Johnson is living proof that basketball is not just about individual greatness, but how every team member can work together to achieve victory. Number 1. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is a living legend in basketball. Every time he had the ball, audiences were on the edge of their seats since they knew something great would surely happen. And of course, Air Jordan rarely failed his countless fans worldwide. Michael Jordan is an all-around player. He defied the laws of gravity by launching way off the usual distance while making a dunk. He is also infamous because of his fadeaway shot, which was virtually impossible to block. Michael Jordan manifested exceptional talent in handling the ball and driving straight towards the basket despite being guarded by some of the best defenders in the NBA. He played a big role during the Chicago Bulls' NBA domination. Probably one of the best features of Michael Jordan aside from his innate talent in basketball is his attitude towards the game. He will always play at full gear in every game. Michael Jordan exerts every possible effort he can give just to achieve his goals. This above all made him deserving to be considered as the best NBA player of all time. Are you agree on our picks? Comment down below to know your picks.